Hello, Sagittarius. My name is Lynn Walden, and I am doing a reading for you for the week of December 2nd, and I'm using my Intuitive Insight Oracle cards. All right, Sag. I've done a few spreads for you, and I finally think that it makes sense to me now. So what I have here is, again, there are certain cards that repeated again and again within the different spreads that I did for you before I decided this finally made sense in a cohesive way. What I've got here is, I feel that, now remember this is for the collective, so it won't necessarily fit for everybody who's coming in with a lot of Sagittarian energy. But what I'm feeling is that you are in a situation where you're feeling quite cut off, a little bit alone, and kind of in a cage within the context of what you are obliged to be doing right now. And what you are being asked to do is to imagine what grace feels like, to really lean into the energy of grace. So I'm going to read it to you because I think even though you may say to yourself, I don't know what grace is, what it feels like, I'm going to read this to you to give you some adjectives that you can work with. Grace has a smooth, easy, peaceful, and supportive quality. It flows naturally into us and through us. It's an experience of letting the benevolent universe take us through our movements and guide us with a loving hand. Notice the feeling quality of this description and return to it today. Every time you're about to do or think about anything, or at any point in the day when you find yourself feeling stressed and thinking too much, welcome that feeling in. Remember those adjectives and remind yourself, whatever your belief system is, if you're listening to this, there is a very great chance you believe in angels, different dimensions, God, spirit guides. Lean into that. Because if you're feeling stuck and stressed, what we want is for you to be able to really get the sense that you can relax a little bit around this. Isolation, I find it fascinating because I really think that isolation, it can definitely be from not having support in situations, being left alone to handle everything. But very often, isolation comes from feeling disconnected from a deeper part of ourself, which is why I think it's really important to remember the grace aspect. Because when you're opening to allow that sense of grace to come in, you are automatically connecting to that higher part of you that is connected to that grace. And if you can, and of course, it depends on how difficult the situation is and how long you've been putting up with it, or even as a pattern in your life. But try to remember that whatever situation you're dealing with has a capacity to be something that can teach you something. That even if somebody is being deliberately obstructive, that within this situation, you have the capacity to grow into a deeper place in yourself and more deeply connected to that part of you which really has the resources, which really is connected to higher energy, wise mind, all of that stuff. Now, I know some Sages who are going through some difficult stuff right now, and saying this to them would possibly make them feel, what are you talking about? Like, how can I get there when I'm in this kind of schmozzle? But that's exactly what you're being asked to do. What can you do on a small scale that is going to give you some sense of order, some sense of grounding? Maybe it's cleaning out a drawer. Maybe it's organizing a makeup bag, if you have a makeup bag. Maybe it's cleaning out the dash in your car. Something like that, to start giving some sense of positive movement and clarity around just this little thing, because you know energetically what's going on in the world around you, in your environment, is going to affect the quality of mind that you experience. So if something is really in disorder in your life, even if it's being caused by somebody else, even if it's not in your immediate environment, maybe it's a legal situation you're dealing with. If that's still not all sorted out, that creates that kind of chaotic energy. So wherever you can find some kind of deliberate organization that's not too stressful or strainful, that's a really great way to start moving out of that energy and into a calmer one. Also look for cognitive distortions, the way you speak. How much are you exaggerating when you speak? Are you, for example, I could say to you, I've got nothing to wear. The truth is, I have lots to wear, but maybe I just don't like what I've got to wear. Maybe I feel like I need something new. So instead of saying, I've got absolutely nothing to wear, which is just like kind of energy, it's like, no, you know what? I don't really like what I have to wear right now. Oh, okay. Well, now that automatically then leads me to, what can I do about that? As opposed to, I have nothing, right? So say what you're feeling, but check in. Do you really feel what you're saying? Is there something else that needs to be said? Is it partially true? Or maybe you need to speak up. Maybe you need to speak up and say what you really are feeling about something rather than just keeping it inside, playing the social role that you need to play. Maybe you just really need to speak your truth. That is always, of course, being done with the idea of, again, cognitive distortions. You don't want to say to somebody, you always blah, 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 when they don't always. They may have often. You may really dislike it when they do it. But when you are working to consciously make statements that are factual, that are 100% the truth of what you're feeling, chances are it's going to be much calmer, and chances are it's going to be coming from a place where it is going to be enriching for you to say it, liberating for you to say it, rather than something you're going to regret. Please breathe. Use your breath this week. Really work with letting your breath take you into your truth, into your present situation. Use your breath to embrace grace and to stay in, as much as it can be irritating, to stay in the concept of we're all here to learn and grow. Whatever situation we're in, however badly somebody is behaving or irritating somebody is, we are here to learn and grow, and we can turn it into something that works for us. Please, that does not mean that we let ourselves be treated like doormats. We do speak up for what we need and what is right for us, and we set boundaries, like absolutely no question. And at the same time, when we can have a bigger picture understanding of the fact that we're here to learn and we're here to grow from these different situations, we tend to come from more of a neutral place and not a blaming kind of place, which is ultimately really where you're going to get the best communication and have fewer wreckages that you might have to clean up in your emotional life. Okay, Sag? So for those of you who are feeling like you're being caged in and that you're cut off, please remember, lean into grace, lean into the idea that we're all here to learn and grow, and maybe you can turn this into a situation that is a little bit easier to deal with for you. If you are willing to stay centered with your breath, call on grace when you need it, all the time perhaps, that you're clear in what you're stating and that you're being honest about it, that you're looking for areas where you are perhaps being overly, well, we'll just say cognitive distortions, whether it's overly or underly about anything. And if you can find one little thing that you can do this week that can give you a sense of accomplishment about something, especially if it's tidying something up or clearing something off your list that you need to do. That would be a really, really good way for you to just start getting rid of some of that energy that's like this. Okay? All right, my Sagittarius, I hope that was helpful, and I will be back. Oh, and I keep forgetting, if you found this helpful, if you liked it, if you'd like to support the channel, be great if you would press the button for like and subscribe. And that is that. I will leave you with that, and I hope you're going to have a wonderful week. Okay, bye-bye.